Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting, glorious day. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. I think most of us are in Southern California, but if not, welcome. It's very sunny in the low 80s. That was my weather report for you. I'm just doing a little vampy because we are going to let some people get online. And while we wait for some folks to get in line or online, let me introduce myself. My name is Sadie Uribe, and I'm the Community Engagement Specialist for the SBDC Los Angeles Regional Network. The SBDC is a national program with over 1,000 locations across the country, helping to stimulate economic growth through business advising and development. We offer no-cost services to the local businesses through funding provided by the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, and from the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, GoBiz. The Los Angeles Regional Small Business Development Center Network serves small businesses throughout Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and Ventura counties. And we offer no-cost business advising, meaning you can meet one-on-one via phone or Zoom to address your specific needs and challenges. And we also offer virtual training, such as this amazing comprehensive workshop we're about to participate, to help adapt and grow your business. But all right, without much ado, Mike, hello, we're reunited. I'm so excited. What are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about investment pitch decks. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. GB, for those of you who've been attending these sessions for over a couple of years now, is in Hawaii, and he has difficulty logging in because of the connections. So GB will not be on today. I will be presenting information on how to create a pitch deck. I prefer an interactive session. So if you have questions, Sadie has the opportunity to unmute you so you can ask it live. Certainly you can put in the Q&A, and I will go forward from there. So let me go ahead and share my screen. By the way, I've been an advisor, for those who don't know me, since 2016 with the SBDC. I work out of multiple SBDC centers. I have 2 finance degrees and a law degree, and I've been doing consulting actually since 2011 for businesses. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. Now, there are different types of pitch decks. There's product pitch decks, sales pitch decks. I'm specifically referring to investment pitch decks. These are decks that you would present to an angel investment group or a VC, venture capitalist. If you don't know what those terms are, that's okay. These are people who will invest in your business if they believe in your business and you can tell a good story. And that's what decks are about. So to get into an angel group or a VC, Sadie could tell you, many of the advisors could tell you, we're connected to all the angel groups in Southern California. Tech Coast Angels, Pasadena Angels, Carezzo, the Monday Clubs, a whole host of them. Plus, we have access to numerous venture capital firms, but it's very, very difficult, very competitive to gain funding from these VCs and angels because you have to have something called traction, which means you have to have a product or a service that people really want to buy, and you're proving it through the marketplace. However, be that as it may, I want to go ahead and go forward with the presentation of this deck. Now, Sadie, before we do that, maybe we can ask a question of folks, and that is, how many of you have created a deck for your business? If you had, put the answer in the chat room, the Q&A, so we can know where you're at. So let me move forward from there. That's me in my nice little suit, and here we go. What I have done in this particular presentation is I've explained what each slide should contain, and I've had to put our branding on the slide. Normally, the deck that I present would have actually more white space than you see. So we start out with a name for the business, and a story. BAI stands for baby in Indonesian. And this particular company, this hypothetical company that I created, has to do with preparing and selling all natural and organic body care products for use. So notice, I use an attractive color, I think, and I put a tagline in. Keep it short and simple. With regards to the graphics, I'm not the best at graphics. I'm sure that many of you out there would be better at producing graphics than I am. The story behind this is my daughter, who's now grown, she's been out with her own child, when she had her child, who's now 12. She didn't like the body care products that are out in the marketplace because they're full of bad ingredients. So she started making her own. Then she came to me, she said, well, you help people start businesses. Can you help me? I said, sure, of course. And I came up with this deck. She's still making those body care products, but she never went forward with the business. But that's the inspiration. That's a story. Always have a story that people can relate to. Now let me move forward from there. So what's the problem? You have to define why this product or service is needed in the marketplace. In this case, you can see that I've identified real issues in regards to body care products for children, including suntan lotion, etc. Many children have chemical sensitivities, harmful ingredients, etc. By the way, the picture of this beautiful little girl I took off the internet in 2016 wearing the mask, long before we all had to wear masks. It's because this problem has been around for a very, very long time. And the ingredients in these products can cause cancer, thyroid dysfunction. This is also true for adults. Okay? You need to define the problem you're trying to solve in a way that's relatable. I think we had some answers in the chat, Sadie. Let's see, some people definitely have, that's great. So hopefully for those who have already created them, this might be helpful in improving yours. And for those who have not, you'll gain inspiration to create one. Because the deck is not just used for investment purposes, the deck might be used for a loan presentation or to a particular investor, like a friend or family member who might want to come into your business, and you can present a deck to them. So here I had some statistics that explains this information. Sadie, what do you think so far? We good?
I think we're good, especially when I take off the mute button on myself.
Yeah, okay. So now you have to define the market size, who you're selling to. There's something called TAM, SAM, SUM, total available market, serviceable addressable market. What I've identified here, not in terms of dollars, but the age population that I'm trying to address. And I got these statistics from the Census Bureau. There's all sorts of information available to the Census Bureau. There's something called Quick Facts, where you can go to. It's called Quick Facts. It's easy to find, where you get information. And for your particular industry, you should join a trade group. And the trade groups have all sorts of information, because you need to particularly identify who you're trying to serve. In this case, we know that 12% of the population is chemically sensitive, and I have a serviceable market of 8.4 million. I could drill down lower and lower and lower to the point where how many are in Santa Monica, for example, or in the South Bay, right? I also identified the various issues with the other brands. This could have been spread out. By the way, the deck should be 12 to 15 or less slides. Shouldn't be more than that, then you're providing too much information. And oftentimes when I see decks, I've seen thousands of decks, I see people trying to explain things technically. No one cares about how you do something. No one cares about how this product is made or your latest technological innovation. What they care about is what you're bringing to the marketplace, what the benefit is to the marketplace. And when it comes to investors, how much money they can make off of you. That's what counts. Trying to put in all the technical aspects of how things are done is not going to get you very far. Focus on the benefits. That's also true when you price your products. It's always about the benefits that you bring to the marketplace. Let me go from there. So what's your unique value proposition? How do you solve the problem? Now notice on these slides, most of them, I put the logo and I put the tagline. Come up with a tagline. Whether it's a service or product, have a tagline. And make the solution simple for people to understand. Here we have pure and natural ingredients. I don't care if it's a service or a product. Make it so that people who are looking at it get it like this. For those of you who have seen the Airbnb deck, if you haven't, you go take a look at it. It's quite simple, a lot of white space and very basic. And it works. I see we have a Q&A. As this presentation outlined our floor chart to be yourself. So Sadie, I will provide this presentation to you. I have a PowerPoint presentation in a PDF format. And if somebody asks for it, perhaps you can send it to them. Okay? You're muted. Okay. One of the other things that often comes up, Sadie, is how can people access these presentations? I believe that Lauren has been setting up some sort of mechanism for people to access the presentations.
Oh, yes, we love those email blasts. I'm like, we learn, but we got to do the follow-up work, right?
Right. So the next slide, who's paying for the product? How is it priced? Is it a high price premium, budget offering, somewhere in the middle? There's something called the price quality matrix. High quality products or high quality services deserve high prices, and vice versa for low quality. So we all know what a Chromebook is. Chromebook, a couple $100, right? You know what you're getting. That's okay. You don't have to be the highest quality. You can be the lowest quality, but price accordingly. Don't price a high quality product or service with a low price. Don't do that. Match it to the marketplace, which means you need to do a competitive analysis. Look at what your competitors are doing, understand the pricing, understand the features they're offering, understand the attributes. It takes a little bit of time, pick 5 or 6 and do a matrix. I'll show you one here, a little bit different than a matrix, but always look at your competition. So in this particular case, we have a product line, and that's particular product, one of the products that my daughter made out of her home. We have body lotion, and we're pricing at $12 retail per 8-ounce container. Wholesale is $8 per 8-ounce container. And we're priced within a top 78% of the market range because it's a high quality product. Service to product doesn't matter. Just make sure the pricing matches the product or service quality. Let me move forward from here. See another Q&A. So if you write to Sadie, perhaps you can put your email in the chat room. You'll be able to gain access to these presentations. Okay. Now, you need a milestone slide. You need traction and validation. This slide is a little busy, and I created this back in 2016. I should have broke it out. But there's company milestones and product milestones. Company milestones have to do with what you've done with the company. When did you form it? When did you get your first round of funding? When did you get your first loan? In this case, hypothetically, you open a plant in Torrance. It could be that we engaged a contractor to provide the product, right? First order issued. Maybe you got a certification, like a minority certification, small business certification, women-owned business. These are all company milestones. Here we started our first national campaign, and we got a 30% increase in order throughput in January 2015. Whatever your milestones are, list them. And if you're pre-venture, you can list future milestones. We expect to get our loan in 6 months. We expect to be certified within 3 months, because people want to know your status. You're asking people to invest in you. They're investing in you. You are the story. You are your business. Keep that in mind. How do you build a brand? You put yourself out there. I'm not going to go into a branding presentation today, but keep in mind, people want to understand you, where you're coming from, where you're going. Now, there's product milestones. In this case, we said first orders are shipped for body lotion in February 2013. If you're starting a medical care practice, we took our first patient on whatever day, okay? Just list out the product milestones or the service milestones. We got our first order with CVS in February 2014. Doesn't matter if it's product or service, always list out the milestones. Now, this is one way to do it. I'm going to show you some other ways to do it. This is just text. There's graphical ways of doing this as well. Let me move on from there. 1 minute. Thank you for putting your email in the chat room. If anyone wants the presentation, you can write to Sadie and she will provide it to you. So there are 52 marketing strategies, at least 52. I can't list them all today. The strategy leads to the tactics. So you have goals, strategy, and tactics. So one marketing strategy is content marketing. Content marketing has to do with providing content to your audience through blogs and that type of stuff. There's many other marketing strategies, like relationship marketing strategy, et cetera. So I apologize. Give me 1 minute. So you have to first determine who your buyer persona is, who your ideal clients are. HubSpot can do it for you. It's free. An ideal client is someone that you create as a hypothetical person. Once you determine who your ideal client is, you have a very detailed biographical sketch of a hypothetical person. You put a name to it. It's a 35-year-old mother of 3 earning $60,000 a year as a paralegal who enjoys yoga and hiking. She lives in Torrance. She has a household. She lives with a boyfriend who also earns $60,000 or $70,000. They watch TikTok and Netflix. She enjoys romance novels. And I can ask you 100 questions, at the end of which you would be able to tell me who your ideal client is. And if you don't know who your ideal client is, you take surveys of your customers. And once you do that, it's called a buyer persona, then you create something called a customer journey map. Once you create a customer journey map, because we go through stages. If Sadie was to go buy a new car, we all do this, she'd have to go through a stage. I don't know when the last time you bought a car. It's been 8 years for me. Yeah, 5 years, exactly. All sorts of new cars are on the marketplace. So how to become aware of those cars? That's one stage. And you're in an emotional state because you need a new car. Like, oh my God, I have to buy another car. Then the next stage is how this consideration stage. Okay, I'll narrow it down to certain models, but how to decide which car to buy and who to go with. And then there's an engagement stage where you go into the dealership or perhaps buying online. I don't like doing that. And then there's a whole negotiation stage. And there's a post-negotiation stage. And all along the way, there's opportunities to engage with that ideal client. You should have at least 2 or 3 ideal clients. Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies have 100 to 200 of these ideal clients called buyer personas. Because we're not in the world of mass marketing anymore. We're not trying to sell refrigerators to every household in America, okay? So first you define your ideal clients, your goals, objectives, ideal clients. Then you define your customer journey maps, which then leads to a marketing strategy and then tactics. So with content marketing, for example, a tactic would be writing a blog to the proper audience. And you need to do this, especially if you're involved in pay-per-click advertising. So here we're going to sell to traditional brick and mortars. That's a retail strategy, transactional strategy, and do online portals. And we're going to use growth hacker marketing tactics. So we will engage in appropriate social media platforms. Not everybody's on Twitter, and not everybody's on LinkedIn. That's why you do the buyer personas and the customer journey maps. And we're going to engage industry influencers. And we're going to place print ads in baby magazines and in nationally rated television shows. We have product placement. And we're going to engage in cause marketing. That's another strategy. You pick 2 or 3 strategies. People involved in cause marketing that support other causes do better compared to competition. It's been proven over and over again. So I don't care what industry you're in, adopt a cause of some sort. Get involved in your community and support them. It's a win-win-win all around. Don't get caught up in the cause, but go ahead and support them. We have some chats. Let me go ahead and take a look at the chat, Sadie. 1 minute. One person saying, once you decide your target demographic, are banks or funding companies, are they interested in your cause? Yes, because we haven't gotten to the financials yet. We will. Okay. Let's just first deal with the slides that I have. We move forward from here. Then you have to identify your team. No one can do it all. We have a team. Sadie's part of my team. I'm part of her team. Everybody should have a team. Okay. Now, when it comes to the team slide, what I've seen over and over and over again, it drives me crazy, is this long list of text telling me what these team members do. Keep in mind, VCs and angels, they spend maybe a minute, 2 minutes looking at a deck. They don't have time to read all this text. It's not done like that anymore. You could, if you ever have the opportunity to present live, there's pitch competitions, you can look them up. You can talk through their experiences. So what you see here is I've taken these hypothetical people, give them hypothetical names, and put down the various places they would work via logos. That's much more impactful than giving me a lot of text. I don't have time to read all of it. VC staffers can get 200 to 300 decks a week. There's no way they're going to be able to read all the text. They want to get through them fast, boom, 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 give them the vital information and move on to the next. That's what they want to do. Same thing with angel groups. Okay, so this is one form of a competition slide. Remember, you need to do competition analysis. If you haven't done that for your business, you need to do it. Whether or not you create a slide. If you haven't done the development of a buyer persona, you need to do it. Whether or not you do, you're looking for money. If you haven't created customer journey maps, you need to do it. HubSpot is a great place to go to. You can do it for free. So here, in this case, we have Fortune 500 companies. They basically took adult products and they formulated it and they kind of repackaged it for use. Still have the unsafe ingredients. You have cottage producers. They're like people working maybe out of a small warehouse. They can't scale. Your business has to scale in order to attract money. I run into people all the time who have, I'll call it lifestyle businesses. I'm a life coach, or I'm a dentist, or I'm doing something. It's me, it's all me. I'm the only one doing that. It's like me, I'm a consultant, right? You can't scale because how many hours in a day did you have to do your work? It's impossible. I was talking to somebody who wants to do mobile veterinary medicine yesterday. Do you have anyone else on your team? No, it's just me. So you are limited by the amount of hours that you can work. This is true for people making homemade products like my daughter. She can't scale. She just made the products for her child. If you want to grow your business, you have to be able to scale. That means you have to bring more people in, bring technology in, et cetera, to help you scale your business. By the way, if you have issues with this, come see us. Talk to Sadie. She'll get you hooked up with an advisor. We have people who specialize in helping businesses scale, grow. And you should be wanting to scale and grow, or else why be in business? Okay? So with this particular business, we can scale. We have high quality controls, we have deep market penetration, and we have extensive media platforms. Now we're getting into the numbers. I am an expert Excel user. I have created thousands of financial models in my career over many, many, many years. Okay, I first learned Lotus, then Excel, and I know it inside and out. I can't stand it when I see spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet in a deck. No one remembers the spreadsheet. I don't remember the spreadsheets. It's too much information. Make it easy. Put it in chart format. Sadie, I'm from Boston. That's why you hear chart. Okay. Put it in. I am. So you'll hear it in my voice. Put it in chart format. Okay. I was at an office when I moved out here to San Diego, and I was in the office working on charts. And the CEO came by and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working on charts." He goes, "What the hell are charts?" I said, "Like graphs." He goes, "Oh, you're from Boston. I forgot." So graphs. Okay.
Graphs, cats,
graphs. Yeah, exactly. And make it attractive. Identify your product lines or service lines. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 product lines. Okay. And I identified so everybody's easy to understand what we're selling it for at retail. And then I put the cost of goods sold. Okay. I don't need all the other details. You can always provide that later. Now, someone may not remember all these numbers, but they remember, damn, that green line was pretty high. Make it understandable and easy for people to look at it. And then we have another schedule, if you will, another graph that shows the breakdown of the sales by revenue, by product line. You can do it by service line. If you're a lawyer, you might be involved in patent law and torts and criminal defense. Whatever you're doing, break out, extremely important, your financials, to break out your service lines of revenue, or product lines of revenue, and break out your cost of goods sold or cost of service, called cost of service for service businesses. So you understand where you're at. You should do this whether or not you're creating decks. You need to understand your profit and loss, your gross margins associated with those service lines and product lines. It's going to help you make better decisions. And you can see in this particular case, the body lotion is doing well, and no one wants to buy the shampoo. And so in this case, I might eliminate the shampoo because it's just not doing well. not enough sales. And then we move to another graph. For those who are unfamiliar with these terms, have you heard the term EBITDA, Sadie?
I have not, and I had to mute myself because the dog started barking, so
That's
sorry.
okay. Not a problem. The perils of working at home. So EBITDA is a term everybody should know. It stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. CAGR is a growth rate, okay? You need to know these two numbers. If you're on an accrual basis, and certain businesses must be on an accrual basis based upon tax law, I forget the threshold, maybe a couple $1 million in revenue, then you're required to report on an accrual basis, not a cash basis. Most small businesses that we're seeing report on a cash basis. But what really counts for doing these types of analysis is you produce it in an accrual basis. And then what you have to do is calculate your EBITDA, which essentially leads us back to cash. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Depreciation and amortization are non-cash items. That's why you're added back. Taxes, you're gonna have to pay taxes anyway. So it's one of those, it's not part of your operating income. And interest on loans is not part of your operating income. So you're trying to get back to basically operating income. So earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That's what every VC wants to see. That's what every angel wants to see. And even lenders now want to see these numbers. And then there's something called adjusted EBITDA, where you add back off one-off expenses. For example, there's some sort of situation where the HVAC breaks down and you have to repair it. That's an expense that you have to incur on your income statement. That's a one-time expense. It's not going to happen consistently, hopefully not. It doesn't happen consistently year after year. So you would add back in that one-time expense. A lawsuit, that'd be a one-time expense. So the one-time expenses are added back in. Additionally, if you're taking, let's say, excess income out of your business, let's say the average income for your particular business as an owner is $100,000 and you're taking out $200,000. Well, that's excess. So you'd be adding that thing back in when you try to sell your business. Okay, owner expenses that are being run through the business. I see this all the time. Personal trips, cars, life insurance, health insurance, all this stuff. Owners running through their business as an expense get added back in. That's adjusted EBITDA. And then this negative add backs, believe it or not, because let's say you should have had a COO. So you're trying to sell your business and now somebody coming in trying to buy the business knows they have to add a COO. So you have to deduct the salary for a COO when calculating EBITDA. Now, what you see here is a chart which shows our gross profit in green, our EBITDA in blue, or light blue, our cost of goods sold as a line, and operating costs. This is so much easier for a VC angel group, somebody else looking at this to understand. I could have given you a spreadsheet. I have the spreadsheets. It's too much information. Now, I think I had a little too much wine city when I prepared this, okay? Because I put EBITDA margin at 55%. No one has 55% EBITDA margin. Okay?
You like that? I was like the emoji. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Wow, what was I drinking that night? Okay.
you're having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. EBITDA margins, if you're at 15, 20, 25%, you're doing really well. Okay. Then we come to the ask. So I've had this conversation numerous times with people. You should never put the ask in the deck. Wrong, incorrect. Don't ever listen to that advice. It's dumb, it's stupid. Sorry, it is. Everybody wants to know what your ask is. What's the first thing? If you watch Shark Tank, which I don't watch anymore, it drives me crazy, and 90% of the deals never go through anyway. However, one of the things they always ask is, what do you need? the next question to be, what are you going to spend it on? And what are you giving in return? Those are excellent questions. Those are questions you should answer in your deck. In this case, we needed $4 million over 3 years to build a plant, perform R&D, build social media audiences, monetize that audience, build more plants. And I could have got more detailed. And there's a more detailed plan. I'm giving the highlights. And what am I offering in return? I'm offering a convertible note, which I'll explain. Offering 10% interest, which is really high in this day and age. Quarterly compounded over 5 years. 30% equity. If they convert that note to equity, they get 30% of the company. And the shareholders will reduce their positions, obviously, to meet the dilution offer. So a convertible note allows for investors to convert that note payable, that debt that you owe to them, to equity, if they so choose. You can set up a convertible note so that the interest accrues for a period of time, maybe let's say for a year, and so that you can go ahead and take the money that they're providing to you and get your business started, or expand your business, or enter a new market, or start into a new product or service. Okay, this is one way of offering interest, an investment into your business. There's other ways, okay? For those of you who are in the startup mode, for those of you in the startup community, you will hear the term safe note. Safe notes are not safe. Simple agreement for future equity. What that means is the actual equity percentage is not determined until the next round. That carries a lot of risks. Additionally, with safe notes, only the people investing in only the owners take dilution. There's going to be subsequent rounds. The people investing don't take dilution. So the marketplace does not like uncertainty, and safe notes provide uncertainty because you don't know what the value of the equity conversion is. And the safe notes are not good for owners because you're the only one taking dilution in subsequent rounds. The third thing is safe notes offer a discount in subsequent rounds when you go for funding to those who invested earlier. For those coming in the following rounds, I'm not going to be too happy that they're not getting the discount. So safe notes, in my estimation, are not safe. I know everybody uses them. It was Y Combinator that came up with them, and they're just bad deals. Don't do it. Talk to us first. That's my opinion. Others will give you a different opinion. So that's the end. Let's see if there's any other questions. All right, chats. All right, so what I'm going to do now is show you this deck in a form without all the branding that you saw. Okay, you should have a cover. You should have information about maybe even some email or contact information on the cover page, what the problem is right there. This is done without all the branding. Okay, so you can see that it's cleaner. It's the same slides, just without all the branding at the bottom, without the explanations. This is a little busy. I should have broken this out. Okay, and the same slide again. So I'm just showing this to you so that you understand how this particular deck might look without all the branding. Okay, and then a contact slide. So now I'm going to show you someone else's decks, actually somebody else's way to present a deck. Early Growth Financial Services is an organization here in LA that helps people in the startup early stage run a business. They provide financial services. They were offering a webinar, actually a live presentation before the pandemic, how to create a pitch deck. I had created mine first, but I wanted to see what they would come up with. All right, so let's see what they came up with. They were an outsourced financial services firm. I'm not endorsing them. I just wanted to show you, well, look, here's the decks, right? Here's the slides. Title, problem, value proposition, underlying magic, business model, market opportunity, go-to-market plan, competitive analysis, the team, the projections, This is the milestones and the ask. They came up with the exact same slides that I had. Additionally, on the right-hand side, they went out and looked at various people that are doing decks. Guy Kawasaki is the guru of pitch decks. He's suggesting 10 slides. I think that's too little. You can see the other folks think it's too little too. 500 startup says 11, Sequoia Capital 11, NextView says 15 plus. That's a mistake in our view. Crowdfunder says 12. The Airbnb pitch deck was only 13. Okay. And they all basically say the same thing. What's the problem? What's the solution? What's the market validation? What's the underlying magic? What's the competition? Okay. They do not deviate from the standard way of presenting these decks, or else it's not going to go very far. Okay. So let's see what they come up with. Guy Kawasaki says 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30 points. You may not get 10 minutes, 20 minutes, most likely you get 5 to 10 if you ever have the opportunity to present. Okay. 10 slides may not do it, and 30-point font is really big. So I don't necessarily agree with Gary's assessment here, although he is known as Guy, his name is Guy, as the guru of pitch decks. So you need a title page, name, contact information, tagline. You saw mine. Okay. Here we have an example of one. I like this. It's done well. You know, name of the business, tagline, name of the founder, and website. Cool. Okay. What's the problem you're trying to solve? This is part of the Airbnb deck. Very simple. This was the early deck. Easy to understand. Price is an important concern. Hotels leave you disconnected from the city. No easy way to exist. Make it simple. Even if it's a very technical product or service, make it simple. Focus on the real issue that people are facing. And if it's B2B, that's easy to do too. How are you going to fix the problem? What's your solution? This is the Airbnb deck. Save money, make money, share culture. I love it. I mean, this is before everybody knew what Airbnb was. So they had to put it in a way to explain it that was simple. I think they did a brilliant job. This is an Airbnb, basically an Airbnb for boats. Okay, very similar. Easy to understand. List your boat, set the dates, fix the price, guests pay in advance, owners get money. Easy to follow. That's the solution. So what's the underlying magic? What is your unique value proposition? What's the minimum valuable product has to do with those created apps? You have to get to an MVP in order for people to start using your app. I've seen this slide 1,000 times. You know, everybody uses this for a mobile app for a reason. It works, right? Browse available detailers. This is for people who want to detail cars. Compare reviews and prices and select book and pay. This is an app for people who need to have their cars detailed. Easy to understand. They're not getting involved in all the technology behind how this works. They're just saying, this is how this is what the consumer will see. This is a little bit more difficult, but this is, I think, an IT system, okay, with dashboard access and real-time metrics, et cetera. But they explain it. I think it's a little busy, hard to see, but I get it. What's your business model? Who's your primary customer? How are you pricing the product? So what I did, this one is very simple, okay? We have partner commissions coming in. We have supplier commissions coming in. This is a tour agency. They provide tours to Australia. And, you know, we provide business retreats and we provide tours. So they're getting commissions and they're providing tours and retreats. Real easy to understand. Okay. This is somebody else's business model. It's a subscription-based model for storage. 900, you get 900 B per month. You 10,000 responses. This is how we're going to get our subscriptions. Okay. And market opportunity, TAM, SAM, SUM. I referred to this before. Total available market, serviceable addressable market, serviceable obtainable market. I did it by segregating out populations by age. There's other ways. I've seen this a million times, right? The total US auto detailing market is $36 billion. The mobile US auto detailing market is $12 billion. For that particular company called Gleamer, they're saying the total market is $2 billion, but they're going to get a transaction fee. Remember, we saw that earlier. They're going to get a transaction fee for every time somebody goes ahead and gets their car detailed at 15%. So 15% of $2 billion is a hell of a lot of money. The reality is they'll never touch that marketplace. It's way too big. This should have been narrowed down to their geographic area. Then what's your go-to-market plan, right? What's your cost to acquire? Those of you who watch Shark Tank, maybe you should at some point. If you haven't, one of the questions that always comes up is, what's your cost to acquire your customers? What's your process to acquire customers? What's your sales pipeline? All right. I like this. This go-to-market. Remember, there are well over 50 strategies. Okay. This is their go-to-market strategy. They're going to have a partnership strategy, a direct sale strategy, and a subscription strategy. And all those monies are going to flow into this enterprise. That's how this one's working. How are you going to acquire your acquisition? Remember the Kangaroo Tour business? They're going to use paid ads. They're going to use some sort of social media and partnerships, and then to give you more information. If you're not engaged in pay-per-click campaigns, perhaps you should be. And talk to us about it. Now, they identified a target audience as men and women between 25 and 70, middle and higher income in Australia, France, USA, China, and Germany. Way too broad. What they should have done is narrowed this down to specific ideal clients and listed them. And that's how it's done nowadays. And then created customer journey maps. Competitive analysis. Most people like this particular presentation, where you list yourself across the top along with your competitors, and then you list the attributes and features of everybody, and then you compare. And of course, you're going to check off all the boxes, and your competition is not going to check off all the boxes. Of course, if they did it, they will cherry pick the features, and they'll tick off all the boxes, okay? This type of presentation is preferred by most people, as opposed to the quadrant analysis. But you do need to take a deep dive into your competition. This is the quadrant analysis, which is what I like, because my eyes are automatically drawn to where it wants to go. So in this quadrant analysis, we have a technology-focused company versus a usability-focused companies. And then the other line, we have inexpensive, simple plug-and-play devices versus expensive, complex systems. So my eye is attracted to the quadrant I want to look at. So if I'm looking at expensive, complex systems that are technology focused, I can see, well, we have Crestron, for example. Most people that I've talked to prefer the other presentation. So this is the presentation that you should go through. And go from there. So who's on your team, right? Everyone needs a team. I don't know why this is in color, but notice what they did. They put the logos, just like I did. And then they put a few words, which is fine. Always list your team members. Then the financial projections, total customers, conversion rate, total revenue, total expense. Look, Sadie, more charts. Yay, right? But what they added to this chart is a simplified revenue and expense numbers, which is fine. No one's going to read those numbers. If somebody wants to talk to you about your projections, they'll make another appointment with you. They'll come to you. Let's talk about your projections. Let's figure out how you got to these numbers, okay? Then we move down to here. Here's another way of presenting it, okay? We have 5 years out. We have annual revenue. We have EBITDA. Remember I talked about EBITDA? Everybody wants to know what EBITDA is and EBITDA margin. And there's a particular investment hurdle we have to meet. This is another way of presenting it. And then your accomplishments, your milestones, your timeline, right? I really like this. So Sadie, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You saw my milestones where I listed it, by text, right? Month, 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 month. Now we're looking at their growth plan or their milestones. Soft launch, full launch, growth, expansion, and they step it up. Which one do you prefer?
Gosh. I mean, I like it where there's more revenue. I like the words revenue. So I guess I like the idea of being in 1920 right over here because I was like, that's when we have the biggest projections, right?
Right. I actually prefer this presentation better because it's graphical.
Ah,
Okay.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah, it's easier to understand. However, you can do a timeline on a chart, on a calendar. Just make it so that people get it.
I mean, it was very simple for me to see. I mean, I just look and it's like, I was like, more money. I like.
Yeah, more money. Exactly. More money. We're going to generate more money by doing these things.
That's what I looked at. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. We're making more money. How could you not invest in this? It's an amazing opportunity.
Right. Okay, so let me move down some more. So now we're talking about the ask, right? I always put the ask in. In this case, this particular company is asking for $750,000. That's their seed run. And they're saying, well, it's worth $2.8 million. They need to prove it because anyone's going to challenge that, but at least they're listening what they ask this. And what they're saying is, we're going to do direct sales to build immediate revenue. We're going to hire a business development person, sales guy, build channel integration partnership program. Remember, I showed you the partnership program they had. They're going to deploy to new enterprise customers, build community. This is good. What they didn't say, well, they indirectly they said $750K at $2.8 million. So they told you what the equity percentage is if you do the math. Okay, it's about 25%. This is what you need to do if you want to approach investors, even if it's just friends and family. And then look what it says. Test it out. Show it to a bunch of people. Ask for feedback, and then improve upon it and improve upon it. So that ends my presentation for today. I think, Sadie, there's a question in the chat room again about how to gain access to these slides.
Oh, yes. I mean, people are just dying for this deck. So what I said here, and I'll just verbalize it, is that everyone that's registered for this webinar will get it. So basically, I think this is sometimes like what, especially in the small business owners, and look, there's so many different like webinars, classes. But the way we work is that we have like email blast systems. So we do a lot with Excel and whatnot. So it's all like, underworkings here. So everyone that's registered in this, your information is in the Zoom. That's how we all connected, right? Then your Zoom information gets exported. So I don't do any of that stuff, but that's why I'm kind of like, I just like to, keep myself in the mix. I already let Lauren know where I'm like, hey, folks are dying for this. So we need to make sure that we send this out. So that's how we communicate. So that happens over there. She's going to get that list out. So whatever email address you signed up with, that's the one you're going to get it at. And then things I also know, because sometimes this happens too, where it's like, oh, I didn't get it, or this and that. I put down who the address is going to be from, because it's not going to be me. It's not going to be Lauren. It's going to be from SBDC, Small Business Assistance, right? Like I said, who's ever going to look for that email address? But there it is. And if sometimes you want to do a search, right? Because sometimes things end up in the spam folder, right? Because that's what happens with an email blast. So that's why the from is actually from SBDC at lbcc.edu. So like I said, sometimes people unsubscribe. Like it's very odd. So I'm just always like, hey, what's going on here? And they're like, I never got it. And I'm like, well, you never got it because you unsubscribed from the list. So those are those interesting things. So just like as small business owners, I think that's like, or anyone, it's like we have so many processes in place. So don't worry, you're going to get this. You're going to get this presentation deck. So make sure you check your spam folders, your inboxes, and that's the information. But don't worry, it's in Zoom. It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud. Is what I say. Oh,
So
yeah.
there was a question from Mr. Negrete.
Oh,
hello. It's in the chat room.
Let's see. Negrete. I think I'm doing a little scroll. Oh, Alan.
Mm-hmm. So let me answer his question.
Okay.
He's asking about how important it is to present your background. Extremely important. Your story needs to be told in a compelling manner. Now, I'm not saying spend 30 minutes telling your entire life history, okay? But people are attracted to stories. This is also true now in in terms of advertising and marketing. Everybody wants to know the story. Everybody has a story, right? Tell your story in a compelling manner. Let people know why you're doing what you're doing, okay? Sadie, I'm going to take it. We have a little bit more time. So I'm going to ask a series of questions and want everybody to write these down or think about them. It's going to help you with your business plan. It's going to help you develop your tech. It's going to help you with your elevator pitches. It's going to help you with your business overall. Okay. Most people, basically a pitch deck that I just showed is a consolidated version of a business plan. So traditionally you would create the business plan, then create the deck. Oftentimes I see people doing the deck before they create the plan. They put in the cart before the horse. Notice that Boston accent came out again, to put the cart before the horse. So I'm going to ask a series of questions and I want you to think about them, write it down or consider them. What are you selling? Now, Sadie, let's say this. What is an insurance company selling? Sadie?
With an insurance company, security, safety.
Yes, security. What does Disneyland sell?
Happiness, fun.
Yes, Sadie gets it automatically. Sadie is not a linear thinker. When I ask those questions of people who are linear thinkers, I get, well, they're selling insurance policies. Oh, they're selling rides. It's like, no, think about a descriptor for your product or service. Electrical hoses, industrial hoses. Industrial hose companies, I've done research on this. I'm weird about that. I went to all their sites.
It's what you do at 12 o'clock when you're drinking wine.
Yeah,
like,
let
me look this up.
How do they present their branding? How do they communicate their message? How do they get sales? It's about reliability and efficiency and safety. That's how they're selling their products, the good ones, right? Take any product or service, put a descriptor into it, tell the story. What are you selling? Why are you selling it? Everybody has a background as to why they're selling it, okay? Who are you selling it to? Which is the buyer persona, the ideal client. If you had your choice, this is the one person or group of people like this person that I would sell to, okay? How are you selling it? Which comes down to marketing strategies and tactics, which comes down to development of customer journey map, okay? When are you selling it? Well, Disneyland is open, what, till midnight? I don't know, I've been in Disneyland a while, right? So Disneyland is open till late into the night. But when are they selling it? They're selling it through commercials. They're selling it through coupons. They're selling it in various ways. So when you sell it might be related to when your audience is available to hear it, or when your audience is available to see it. If you're trying to promote yourself on social media at 3 o'clock in the morning through a blog or through a pay-per-click campaign, you can time these things. No one may see it. So when are you selling it? Where are you selling it? The social media, print media, broadcast media, digital means, and socialization. When broadcast media, this ties back to all the strategies. You have things like streaming channels. You have anything that you see with your eyes that's moving or hear, radio, Spotify, YouTube, okay? TikTok, that's broadcast media, but not everybody's on TikTok. There's print media, which is billboards and print ads and flyers, etc. You can buy a bus bench and put an ad on it, a wrap on your car. You know, I've seen signs on buses. That's print media. And social media, everybody knows all the social media platforms, Facebook, etc. But that may not be the right media for you. The industrial hose company doesn't care about social media. It's B2B. There's B2C, B2B, B2G, business to consumer, business to business, business to government. Know where you're selling at, right? So who you're selling to, why you're selling it, where you're selling it, when you're selling it, why you're selling it. Answer those questions. If you answer all those, what is your unique value proposition? What makes you special? That's why you have to do the competitive analysis. And then you do the numbers. What are your goals? What are your objectives? How are you going to reach there, right? You can employ brand ambassadors. There's many, many different strategies, but you have to answer those questions first. And if you haven't answered those questions, you should answer those questions. And by answering those questions, it leads you back to the development of a business plan. Okay. So with that, Sadie, I am signing off. I've given as much as I can for today.
You've given us so much, Mike, so much, so much. As you hear the ping, it's like they know, they're like, oh, that webinar's over, time to do some other tasks, do some other tasks. But this is what we do. This is what we do. We're motivated, we're excited, we get pitch decks ready, we're gonna send out emails so people get their pitch deck presentations. I mean, we're time to do our other hustles, right?
Right. Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you, Sadie. We'll be back next week. I believe GB will be back, and he'll be talking about fun stuff like taxes.
Woo! We love talking about taxes.
Exactly. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a good one.